Hey guys, what's up? On today's episode, it's a double feature 2-for-1. We have both Rebecca and Melinda on the show. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but let's dive right on in. You guys, I have no idea what's going on. I think there's a conspiracy going on. The two of you guys met up somewhere in Orange County. Is that right? Mm-hmm. You guys started talking, and then the idea was birthed that maybe we should do a catch-up episode to talk about how being on the show, having heard the advice I've given you, has impacted you. Hopefully, your business is skyrocketing, your productivity is through the roof, your relationships are 10 times better, and life is great. But that's not always the case. So what are we going to talk about today?
So we want to talk about what's been the most helpful, what's been the best part of working with Chris, and what's been the hardest advice to implement.
That sounds super juicy. I'm going to turn the show over to you guys, and you guys talk, and then I'll just listen.
I'm actually going to start with with what's been the hardest to implement, because I know that was something that we had talked about and that you wanted to share. So
yeah, in general, most of the advice that I received has all been great.
Of course.
It's been amazing. Let me start there. It's been amazing.
Okay.
But getting lead generation, getting new clients has been slow for me. And it's because I'm trying out new things on every initial call. And so the things that I learned in all of my time with Chris, I'm trying out a new thing each time I get on an initial call. And then I'm meeting with my notes afterwards and think, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, and I haven't been able to generate enough leads to practice enough. So I think generating the leads has been one of the hardest things for me, and then also understanding certain concepts took me more than just hearing it once from Chris. So I had to talk to a couple other people, see how they did it, specifically with strategy and selling strategy. And so it wasn't just, I heard it from Chris and I got it and I'm going to go implement it. I had to really understand that concept he was trying to tell me.
Who did you talk to? Who are these people that you're talking to?
A lot of people in the pro group.
Oh, in the pro group.
Yeah. That have learned from you as well. So, because I didn't want to go to someone else who completely doesn't know what I'm trying to do.
Naturally.
So I went to the pro group and...
Was there anybody specific that you want to mention that really helped you?
Simone.
Simone's awesome.
Mace.
Oh, the ladies.
Yeah.
I like that.
And especially Mace is local. So
yes.
I got to meet up with her a few times too. And Zach Schmaze.
Oh, Zach. Okay.
And Alan Martinez, but he's not in the program.
Not anymore, no. But you spoke to him as well?
Yes.
Okay. So that's nice to hear that you got some support, and hearing it from other people who are practicing it helped to make it clearer to you, right? Perfect. Okay. Anything else? The hard things to do?
The hard... Lead generation has been hard.
That's
because I'm trying to learn. I invested a lot of time in learning core.
Okay.
And trying to understanding how other people are implementing it, looking back at your videos with the pro group. And so I spent a lot of time there because that is something I want to start charging for. But now I'm in that place where, okay, I spent all that time learning that, and now I need more leads to practice selling that to them and changing the conversation from, hey, I need packaging done by next Friday.
Okay, just so that we're not having this super insider conversation, I just want to clarify a few things in case you're tuning in and this is your first video ever watching. What Melinda's talking about is what we call core, and it's something that we sell through our site. It is a strategic framework. And you had asked me on a previous episode, how do I charge for strategy? And I said to you at that point, I don't think you know strategy, and so then you need to learn it. And though the kit itself is pretty straightforward, it does take some time to master. And the way that you master it is you have to be able to practice it. And so then lies in the whole chicken and egg problem, where you don't feel confident to do it, so nobody will hire you, and you can't practice if nobody hires you. So the thing that you did was you went inside the paid subscription group, which is called the Pro group, and you're talking to people who are practitioners of core, and that helped you get more confidence. Or perhaps it was about answering some questions about, I'm stuck here, what are you guys doing, how much did you charge, what was it like, etc. And you were able to relate with them.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Beautiful. That's the summary there.
And yes, and one other thing I would add is that I have been approaching either close friends or clients / close friends to do core with.
Perfect.
To build case studies. And so as I'm doing that with certain clients, I'm going back to the pro group and saying, hey, this is what I did. I got stuck here. Or can I see, what do you do after core? What's your deck look like? What should I include? And how do you deliver that to the client? And so as I'm doing it with clients, I'm also checking back in with the pro group.
Excellent. Okay. And then I'll refrain from commenting or giving you advice at this point. I'm just going to hold off and then hand the ball over to Rebecca. Rebecca, what's been the hardest thing for you to do in terms of implementation of our conversation together?
You know, we talked a lot about just me getting out there and talking to people and doing small talk. So I haven't been doing core, though I do that kind of stuff on my own, which I think is more like positioning. So
Sure.
So I've been working more on my skill, my personal skills. And it was hard at the beginning. I think, you know, the first time we checked in, I hadn't done so well. So you were pushing me to go out and talk to people more. And my husband actually said to me the other night when we were eating out that without me even asking him, he mentioned that it seems like I'm more friendlier with people. He's definitely noticed a difference, and I am talking to people a lot more. People in line at the grocery store. I was talking to the parking lot attendant the other day, and I kind of was like, in my head, I'm like, why am I I'm like having a full-blown conversation? You know, I'm just chatting with everybody now.
Great. How does that make you feel?
It actually it increases your energy. I do feel
Whoa.
like, you know, and like I mentioned to you before, this is something I've been working on for a long time, for many years, you know, and I felt like this just was the right moment. Like I'm just ready to do it and be more really up it a notch, you know, because it's not like I sit at home and I'm very quiet all the time and I just stay in my office, but I needed to up it a notch and really feel comfortable with people and start talking more. And my husband even, you know, noticed that I'm
Unprompted,
much
your
more
husband noticed.
Unprompted, he did. And he would not say that unless he really felt like he had seen a change in me, where I'm talking to more people, when I'm waiting at the restaurant to get into a restaurant, I'm chatting with people, I'm making the effort. I'm conscious now, like I wasn't before. I'm always conscious about trying to say hello or how are you doing. And
can I share a little story with you?
Sure.
Now, so people don't know this. I'm an introvert. You're an introvert, obviously. Are you an introvert? So there's 3 dorky introverts at this table. And I think a large part of our community, the creative community, are introverts. And I think that's why we run towards the computer. It's something you can control. You don't have to talk to anybody. And it's nice. It's comforting in that safe little womb. And I want to tell you that I've made a lot of progress myself, but I still struggle with these kinds of things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's just that there's a little thing in my head that says, there are people counting on you right now to get this thing right. Then go back and then share what you learned. This is not some theory. This is not like I pretend to be an introvert. I am. So I'm just going to venture a guess here that part of the reason why you walk around having these conversations with people is because you have to be accountable now. And there's that episode we did together. You know, eventually we're going to see each other again. And I'm going to ask you, so Rebecca, what's happened? Have you done it yet? And then there's all these people on the internet saying, whoa, we are Rebecca or we are Melinda, and they're trying to learn through you. And if you can do it, doesn't that feel like you're not just doing it for yourself anymore, but you're doing it for a community?
I felt like that in the beginning. Like I felt like I've got to do this.
You got to do
Chris
it.
wants me to do it. But now it's just my own voice in my head saying, open up, talk, you know, say hello, start a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's kind of going, it's got its own momentum going now. The energy is moving and I'm just keeping it going.
Yeah. So I just got back from Adobe Max. And one of the things I wanted to do was to develop relationships with exhibitors, brand partnerships, as an influencer, quote unquote. But that's not easy for me to say. Usually when you step into a booth, if you've ever gone to a convention before, what happens is they start pitching you their wares. Here are the specs. Here's a discount. Here's a promotion. What do you do? So they're doing that. And so they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
So now I have to swim across the current and sell them something. So I remember earlier that day, I posted on social media and said, today's goal, day 2, is to get a brand partnership deal. And I knew just by saying that I could not end that day going home empty-handed, because it would just not only disappoint me, but maybe even more so, it would disappoint our entire community, who are perhaps looking up to me and saying, dude, you got to do this. We believe in you. So I'm having this conversation with the vendor, and of course, the natural ebb and flow of the conversation it's kind of waning down, right? It's like, it's almost over. Like, this is the time where everybody leaves. And right then, I just had to dig within myself and say, by the way, I've got a question for you. Do you work with influencers? And what are you looking for in a brand partnership? And so that guy says, okay, I'm not the right guy to talk to. Then I asked him, well, who is? He pulled over somebody else. That guy stepped in and he said, yes. I said, I'm an influencer. We have 170 or 184,000 subscribers on our channel. He says, how many do you have? 184? I said, no, we have 184,000. And he goes, oh, and his eyes lit up. And he said, this is a perfect time. Let's talk. And then now it felt like I moved away from being somebody they were going to target and sell to somebody that they wanted to talk in a different way. Like, yes, let's talk. And then we got in this whole conversation. He gave me his business card. He took down my information. He says, oh, I'm not going to forget. This is great timing. So I felt really invigorated, thinking, you little chicken, you stepped up and you did it, and you're about to walk away thinking, oh, maybe I'll do it with another moment, another time, different vendor. But I actually found the courage to say it, and then it felt wonderful. But I have to say, it was just as difficult talking to the next vendor. So this kind of stuff is going to take time. Your first conversation is difficult, your 12th one is less difficult, and over time it just becomes not even a thing anymore. Well, you look forward to meeting and talking to people. So this will never end.
I know.
The level of conversation just gets higher and higher. So first, it's inconsequential strangers.
Right.
Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Awesome. Next thing is the client that you'd like to have. And then some point comes your dream client and your dream client's boss, and then speaking to maybe the president of a country or something. It just keeps changing.
Right. And like
but it all starts somewhere.
And I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm always trying to work on it. So I know it continues. And I had a phone call actually the other day with a potential client, and normally I would be so nervous and not want to do it. Maybe get somebody else from my team to get on the phone with me, but this time I actually I was still nervous, but not as much so. I just got on the phone and I just said, I'm going to be myself, and I did it, and I'm not sure how it will turn out, but at least I did it, and it wasn't as hard as it usually is.
Okay. So your hardest thing to implement was the whole get out and talking to people.
It was, and then but it's gotten easier.
Great. All right. Let's circle back to Melinda here. I have to ask you a couple of questions. Was getting leads easier before, harder, or was it the same? When you say you're having a tough time getting leads, being on the show has impacted it negatively?
No, I have gotten more leads since being on the show. So that has increased.
Yay! All right.
I just haven't received as many as I'd hoped for to practice what I'm learning. Okay.
So you have more leads.
I have more leads.
You're just so greedy, you want even more.
It's for learning.
Learning on how you can make more money.
Yeah,
okay. That's cool. So Melinda's got more leads. Excellent. Why had you gotten more leads? Anything that you can pinpoint?
One of them has been Behance.
Great.
I have to say I have not actually landed any of these clients yet, but the leads are increasing from Behance. A lot of them just don't have the budget.
That's fine. What kind of budget do they have?
Like $500 for logo and packaging.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned the leads.
A few of them I have received.
What else?
Timeline for them have been
too short.
Way too short.
Okay.
Like I need logo packaging done by next Friday.
Right.
Kind of short.
Right.
But even with those clients, I have been practicing changing the conversation.
Beautiful.
And what are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
And asking them why, and switching from, okay, I understand you need this by next Friday. Let me ask you a few questions, and switching it more into almost finding out why is it that they got into the position they're in. And that has been helpful because I said, well, it seems that, what did I ask this last one? It was something about, do you have a style guide or any type of roadmap instead of just designing what you're doing right now? Do you have anything to guide you? And they're like, well, no, I don't have that at all. And so that led into a conversation that they're potentially interested in strategy. Yes, they still did want their packaging done by next week, but they said, that's something that we see we need now, and so we might be calling you later this year.
Okay.
So I'm planting the seeds, and I see this as more of a long-term game than just landing that quick client. So.
Okay. Where else are you getting leads from besides Behance?
I'm still getting leads from referrals.
Referrals. Okay.
Yeah, and that was my main source of leads before too.
Anywhere else? Instagram?
No, I'm mostly attracting designers on Instagram. So.
That's okay. That's all right.
I
What
think
about on Pinterest? Are you making boards of your
I'm
work?
not really on Pinterest.
Okay, you probably need to be. Okay. Here's the thing. People hire who they know. That's why your referrals are going to be your best source of leads. But now that you're putting yourself out there, you're starting to catch new leads that would never be able to find you the old way. And that's the whole point of this. So you're going to get a lot of unqualified leads coming in. So you want to start to practice the art of saying no to them really fast. Are you doing that today?
Yes.
Okay. How are you doing that?
I'm getting to the money issue really fast.
How fast?
In the first conversation, which is faster than I used to, because it used
in the
to
first
be
conversation, like how many minutes into the conversation do you bring up money?
15 minutes.
15?
Yes.
Okay.
When before, let me just say, before it was either 45 minutes, if at all, or 3 days later in the proposal.
bid.
Yeah. So there's
a lot of progress there.
There's progress.
Okay.
Yes.
One thing that you want to do with these unqualified leads is not to waste their time and don't waste your time. Get to the money, get to the project right away. Okay?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yes.
Do you know how to do that?
By asking what they want to accomplish.
No.
No.
I'll tell you.
Okay, tell me.
The phone rings or the email goes through and you just pick up. It's like, hi, Debbie. So glad you reached out. Before we dive in, I just want to know what is your timeline and the budget you have for whatever it is you want me to do. And I'll tell you why. Because I get a lot of inquiries about work and they're just not a good fit for me. And the best way I know how to do that is just to bring up the money conversation right up front. Oh, you have $500. Well, thank you very much. So this is not going to be a good fit for me.
So you're bringing it up in the first 5 minutes.
First two seconds.
Minutes.
Then talk about them open up the conversation because they're unqualified. They're unqualified. That's the thing.
But what if they're
from
not?
Behance.
Then I guess I feel like if I jumped into that really fast, that the ones that are qualified would be like turned off by that conversation.
You think so?
I think so, but I don't have
Based on what?
experience.
Based on what? Melinda theory?
Yes.
Based on
I think it's the
what chapter is that in the Melinda book?
If I guess I'm thinking of it in my situation. If I were to call someone a vendor, and that's the first thing, I'm like, whoa, you didn't even get my name. Like, whoa, I would want a little bit of something.
Little TLC?
Yeah.
All right, let's try this. Let's try this.
No,
do you
I refuse.